The extremely patronising nature of left-wing politics and thinking was on full display in the US presidential campaign this week, as former President Barack Obama decided he was going to scold black men for supporting Donald Trump. How dare you think for yourselves and not accept the pathetic endless victim narrative that we have designed for you, black men? Obama was caught on video speaking at a campaign rally.
You're thinking about sitting out or even supporting somebody who has a history of denigrating you because you think that's a sign of strength, because that's what being a man is, putting women down. That's not acceptable.
Wow, whole lot of assumptions there. He wasn't speaking at a campaign rally, he was speaking to his campaign team, I should correct myself. But it's the same old deplorables narrative again, right? What he's saying there is that if you're an African-American man and you're not voting for Kamala Harris, then you're a sexist pig. It couldn't possibly be that you're actually smart, that the reason you're not voting for Kamala Harris is that she isn't able to articulate a clear policy position on things, doesn't seem to be able to speak off the cuff in an intelligent way, or is just not up to the job and has proven as much in the almost 4 years that she's already been in power. Oh no, it couldn't be any of those things. It must be that you're just a sexist pig with a woman problem. Honestly, is anyone else getting tired of this lame gaslighting excuse that feminists and the left use to manipulate us? If anyone criticises a woman, that we're therefore automatically only criticising her because she's a woman? Actually, yes, a lot of people are getting sick of it, as we've said in the show. Most black men in America are waking up to it, and Obama copped the roasting he so richly deserved for that pathetic patronising tantrum. But before we get to that, I want to show you more of what he said, because on this show we go deeper. He's looking angry. There's nothing worse than a lefty whose power is fading. The authoritarian really comes out in them, and so do the tantrums. How dare you not do what I say? How dare my old tricks not be working anymore?
I'm going to go ahead and just speak some truths, if you don't mind. Please. Because my understanding, based on reports I'm getting from campaigns and communities, is that we have not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running. Now, I also want to say that seems to be more pronounced with the brothers. So if you don't mind, just for a second, I'm going to speak to y'all directly and say that when you have a choice that is this clear, when on the one hand you have somebody who grew up like you, knows you, went to college with you, understands the struggles and pain and joy that comes from those experiences, who's had to work harder and do more and overcome and achieves the second highest office in the land. And on the other side, you have someone who has consistently shown disregard, not just for the communities, but for you as a person. And you're thinking about sitting out? How about But, you know, Cousin Pookie might be. And you're coming up with all kinds of reasons and excuses. I've got a problem with that. Because part of it makes me think, and I'm speaking to men directly, part of it makes me think that, well, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president. And you're coming up with other alternatives and other reasons for that.
Oh my God, this is just so manipulative. You aren't feeling having a woman as president and you're coming up with other reasons to justify that. No, sorry, mate. You see this kind of argument all the time with the left in Australia too. And Obama really copped a backlash for this. Sorry guys, you aren't gaslighting us. We know why we are not voting for Kamala or supporting Kamala, and it has nothing to do with her gender or her race for that matter. So take your identity politics obsession, lefty, and shove it. At least that was the mood on the Cartier Family YouTube channel, one of the most popular African American vlogs in the US.
I also want to say that that seems to be more pronounced with the brothers.
Why do
With
you
the
think
brothers.
that, brother?
We don't
With
like
the
her.
brothers.
He kind of tugged his
With
own.
the brothers.
Kinda-
We ain't your brother,
Kind of did
brother.
his own tuggy right there.
I ain't your brother, brother. How about that, Obama?
Kind of literally what he said. The left does to the right, though. That's
Bro,
what's
Kamala did
crazy.
that today.
That's what's insane.
I don't understand why they keep using the Trumps. I have concepts of a plan and say she has actual plans. She has no actual plans. All her plans are basically just diet MAGA. Like, oh, I want to be strong on the border. You not yet to be strong on the border. Oh, I want to have no tax on tips. Where'd you get that idea from?
The identity politics BS isn't working anymore, lefties. Everyone with a brain seems to have woken up to you, as even the latest news poll from the American left-wing news network NBC shows.
It all comes as our new NBC News poll shows Trump gaining momentum, erasing Harris's 5-point lead from a month ago. The race now a dead heat within the margin of error. And asked about the Trump administration's policies, more Americans said those policies helped them, while more Americans describe the policies of the Biden-Harris administration as hurting them.
Ouch, that's trouble for Harris. Obama's tantrum won't have helped, so she's rolling out the policies now to try to win back black men.
The Harris campaign is rolling out new proposals, including loans for black entrepreneurs and money for training programs.
Another brilliant black man with a huge online video show and following in the US is Devori Darkins. He was highly unimpressed with Obama's patronizing rant.
Why is former President Obama making it about black men? What is it? Is it going to be black men's fault why she doesn't get elected? Why can't it just be, hey, if she doesn't get elected, it's because of a multitude of things. She's a part of an administration who's failed to do their job. She was the border czar. She failed on that. There's chaos in the Middle East. That's on their record as well. People can't barely get by because the cost of living has soared. Why can't it be about that? Why are you going out and making it about race?
Because they're desperate. The Democrats always assume they have the black vote, but with 20% of black men now saying they'll vote for Trump, and that number rising every day, they're panicking.
This is only going to continue to backfire because the credibility when it comes to former President Obama has been burned when it comes to the black community. He sold us a lot of hope, but did not deliver. So for him to come out and tell black men, you need to vote for her because it's unacceptable if you're going to support Trump, that right there is going to sting, but it's not going to sting for black men. It's going to sting for her campaign.
Yep, and even the radical far left-wing Bernie Sanders supporter, Nina Turner, a Democrat state politician in Ohio, a media commentator and an academic, even she was slamming Obama's position.
Why are black men being lectured to? Why are black men being belittled in ways that no other voting group? Now, a lot of love for former President Obama, but for him to single out black men is wrong. And some of the black men that I have talked to have their reasons why they want to vote a different way. And even if some of us may not like that, we have to respect it. So unless President Barack Obama is going to go out and lecture every other group of men from other identity groups, my message for Democrats is don't bring it here to black men who, by and large, don't vote much differently from black women.
Interesting changes are happening in our political and cultural landscape in the West. And it wasn't just black men the patronising leftists in the Democrats were insulting this week. As she said, they should insult all men. Well, should be pleased to know that they did. This ad was an insult to all men.
And I'm man enough.
I'm man enough to enjoy a barrel-proof bourbon.
Neat. Man enough to cook my steak rare. Man enough to deadlift 500 and braid the out of my daughter's hair.
You think I'm afraid to rebuild a carburetor? I eat carburetors for breakfast.
I ain't afraid of bears. That's what bear hugs are for.
I'll tell you another thing I sure as shit am not afraid of. Women.
Wow. Okay, so that's apparently what men are like, according to, I'd guess, having worked in New York periodically in my career in one of my many PR jobs, a bunch of under 40-year-old marketing executives, mostly female and beta male, who grew up in big cities and never leave them. The American equivalent of an Australian ABC producer. See, normal smart people actually know what they don't know. The problem with these kids is that they're ignorant and they think they're smart. And all they do is end up embarrassing themselves and their clients again and again by producing garbage like that. As one commentator put it, that was cosplay. Actors pretending to be what young urban women think men think and act like. You see, we're just all dumb, buffhead, deplorable yobbos, and if we were really sophisticated and well-educated like them, well, we'd understand that the only reason that we don't like Kamala Harris is because she's a woman and we're all big sexist pigs. Same old dumb lefty trick again. Same big fail.
They want to be childless cat ladies? Have all the cats you want.
Woman wants to be president?
Well, I hope she has the guts to look me right in the eye and accept my full-throated endorsement.
I'm man enough to be emotional in front of my wife.
In front of my kids.
In front of my horse.
Oh my God, is it 1962? The old men can't express their emotions, and only if they express their emotions, the world would be such a better place trope. Guys, really, you know, men can express their emotions today. We're absolutely fine. Thank you very much. The problem these days isn't men not being able to express their emotions. It's men generally and masculinity generally, the non-emotional, rational side of humanity that's being disrespected and ignored and ridiculed, and constantly men having their needs made secondary to women's needs so often, not all the time, but often in our modern culture. So an ad like this, made by women, patronising men and mocking outdated, silly stereotypes that only exist in the minds of dumb young feminists, yeah, that's not going to work. And it got slammed, as political news site The Hill reported.
Reaction to that ad was extremely negative. The writer Lyman Stone said on X, "Is there anyone who watches this ad and doesn't feel like it was written by a lizard in a skin suit asking ChatGPT, list of manly things?" Christopher Rufo wrote, this ad is amazing because neither poll in the argument captures the spirit of being a real man. It's not about barrel-aged bourbon, deadlifting 500 pounds, nor is it about supporting IVF or voting for Kamala Harris. These are both caricatures. One is a left-wing mistranslation of manosphere masculinity. The other is an attempt to redefine masculinity. In left-wing ideological terms, taken together, they represent a phony simulacrum of the male nature. Podcast host Tim Pool was a bit more succinct. He wrote simply, "It's like Kamala has never met a man before. This Kamala ad is epic cringe."
Epic cringe. Did you know that for every 2 to 3 teachers in Australia working hard in classrooms across the country, there is one taxpayer-funded bureaucrat sitting behind a desk doing admin and making and enforcing rules and regulations that make those teachers' jobs even harder? That's right, one bureaucrat for every 2 to 3 frontline teachers. That's how bloated our public service has become. But you'll never hear about it from the regular teachers' unions because they also represent many of those public servants. So says the leading alternative teachers' union in Australia, the TPAA. If you're a teacher, it's time to change to a union that will not only look after you without using your money to support the Labor Party, but which is taking on the government education system to sidestep those bureaucrats and use the savings to pay all teachers 25% more. The current waste must stop. All the red tape doesn't just suck up resources and time, it actually takes the teachers away from teaching our kids, and it wastes their time filling in crazy paperwork for meddling bureaucrats. So join the union that will actually stand up against big bloated government. Join the TPAA, the Teachers Professional Association of Australia. To find out more, just Google TPAA. The TPAA's fees are half the price because none of your money goes to any political party. And as an Other Side viewer, if you use our special code OTHERSIDE1 when you sign up, you'll get a further $100 off your first year's fees as a rebate on your first payments. Go to tpaa.redunion.com.au, tpaa.redunion.com.au to sign up now for a better union and support the Other Side too by supporting our sponsors. Thank you, teachers. You're legends. If you like that clip, there's more where that came from in our full show, The Other Side. You can watch it right here, the latest episode. And please subscribe to our channel by pressing the subscribe button right here or down here. And remember to click that notification bell too. It all helps. Join us and become part of The Other Side.